Welcome to Woodturning with Dick.
Welcome to Woodturning with Dick.
Most people would look at this bit of bog oak and go, yeah, that's beyond help. What the heck can I do with that? Dirty great cracks through it. Big knot there. Lots of natural edge of a little burr here. What could I possibly make out of that? Now, back in the day, as a great friend of mine hates me saying, natural edge bowl in here. Try and stabilise this bit with a bit of glue or maybe some resin, although Bog Oak's not a great fan of resin because it's so cracky. I'm looking at this, thin end this end, thick end this end. What I see here is keeping all this natural edge, trim it all down with the wire brush, get this all nice and clean because a lot of this is so loose. You can see all these bits been falling off it already. Not entirely sure what to do here yet. I may just leave it virtually, break off all the completely loose bits, get the wire brush in there a bit and just clean it up. Initially, level this off, level these two sides, nice flat through there, straight edge. So, level off across there. Lose that top section, then I've got a flat edge to work with. Face plate on there, turn a chuck grip in the base. That is going to be at a very queer angle. Actually, looking at that, leveling that off so that the level is on top. Turn a hole in the bottom here big enough, I don't know, maybe glue another bit of bog oak in there and have it swooping down as a foot. Then bring this over, cut not a direct bowl, but just a swoop down in, and then bow these ends over till it meets the natural edge here. So you've got a whee. So it'll end up in that position. Can you envisage it? Can you see it? Nothing else. It's going to be fun. Fun, fun, fun with a bit of bog oak. Okay, so that's doable. Let's see how bad the situation is. Oh, I do like a challenge. And this is definitely a challenge. Lots of very loose bits in here. Interesting to see how presentable I can make that. Enough playing, let's get that hole cut in there. Right, I think that'll do. Got a slight slant in. Now all I need to do is turn a piece of wood that is going to be just a little bit taller than this, with a really good chuck grip on the back of it. Glue it in here, glue it against this side, against here, really bond it really well. Turn it round and turn the top. Before I do that, I am going to need to trim this bark back, which is going to make a heck of a mess. But, you know, that's life. If you were paying close attention, you would have seen that I took down not only this side, which mirrors the natural edge this side and gets rid of any sharp edge on this corner. But also, where there's a hole through here, I've just backed that off, so there's not a sharp edge poking through that side and through that hole if someone's looking really carefully. So, glue it in place now. Here goes nothing. Cautious approach. Just started taking a tiny bit off there, tiny bit off there, tiny bit off there, so my measurements were about right. Whew. This is dodgy turning. It's not actually a bowl, it's more art objet. It's really showing off the wood, the age of the wood, the deformity of it. Not looking forward to the hand sanding, but there's not actually much surface to do because you've got all this missing, you've got all this missing, you just got through here. So, you know, it shouldn't take me too long to hand do. Bit more depth, I think. Now, sanding, cleaning up, picking lots of bits of loose stuff out. I'll come back to you when I'm sand the ceiling. You can see some of this gorgeous grain, what's left of the wood. Let me just quickly show you this angle. I think that's going to look quite delicious when it's finished. See you in a bit. After the sand and sealer's dried, I'll go at it with 400, but it's literally a case of backwards and forwards, going with the grain, getting the finish on there. And it's arduous work, to say the least. Lovely black piece of bog oak, this. I spent ages picking at it, taking little loose bits off in the cracks, been all round through this. All this is completely solid. Cool, I'll come back to you again when I'm waxing it. Okay, waxing time. I've sanded to 1000 grit, shouldn't be any sanding lines. I'm going to do all of the bark here because it'll help darken it. You might have seen me do this in other videos. Don't want to get any clumps of wax in there, but I do want to try and get in to cover all of it. You can see it as I'm doing it, and it darkens up. Now all of this is solid. Just make it look slightly less rotten, which is not. Anyway, I'll get right into that later. When I get Lenore to do this constellation effect, normally on very open grained bog oak, this is incredibly close grained, as in there's not many sort of holes in the grain. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. In a minute, I'm going to get all the wax right in here, right in all these holes, right in the cracks. Again, just to sort of darken it up. Now, my bog oak expert, who I get all my bog oak from, tells me that all these white bits, someone might be able to inform me better than this on one of the Facebook groups I have recently joined, but the little white flecks, the simplest way of explaining it, is kind of salt residue from floods from many thousands of years ago. The lovely thing about this microcrystalline wax, it doesn't give too much of a shine, but it is said to protect from fingerprints. And people at shows are forever going, oh, I really like to touch wood. Oily fingers all over pieces of work that you've spent hours polishing and finishing, which I don't mind, especially if you're using a good wax. It won't actually leave lots of nasty, sticky fingers all over pieces. It's quite easily to repolish them at the show. That is coming up lovely. Very pleased with that. Right, I'm going to crack on. I'll put it on time lapse and change the camera position. Well, I'm at the Gilders and she's put all the gold in the grain. Wow, I love that. Have a closer look. That's epic. Absolutely love it. Right, back to the workshop, start something else.